Welcome to Sister Chat, a monthly video series hosted by the Sisters of Notre Dame to bring women together to connect, honor, advocate for, and teach one another. I'm Sister Marilyn Marie Ellerbrock, and I'm delighted that I'm here today with Jessica Hover and Laurie Foster. Welcome. Jessica is a public relations director at Communique with 3 teenagers. Can't even imagine what that's like at home. So welcome to you, Jessica. And Laurie, you also have 3 older children, but still 3, who sometimes act as teenagers and sometimes as adults.
Yes.
And Laurie, you work for Mercy as a medical technologist.
I do.
As we look at this Christmas season and all of the giving that has taken place and continues to take place, I'm just intrigued with what it is about the spirit of giving that takes root in each of us. I've always been inspired by a work by St. John Paul II on feminine genius, and he says that women especially have a real gift and potential and even inner energy for giving and nourishing and nurturing life. So I'm intrigued, how do you do that? Laurie, what are some ways in your life that you give and are generous with all that God has given you?
I really try and keep it simple. It's what's ever in front of me. If I see a need, I fill that need. If I'm capable and able, it can be a smile. It can be holding a door. It can be sitting and talking with someone. It could be preparing a meal for someone that needs that. It's just whatever is right in front of me, and that's the way I've always looked at my calling, to serve and to volunteer for different things. I almost don't feel like it's volunteering, it's just a way of life. You just do it. And I had 2 really good role models, my grandmother and my mom. My grandmother liked to feed people, and so do I. And my mom, God bless her, she was so wonderful about welcoming anyone into our house. There was definitely some interesting characters, I gotta tell you, but it really taught me to not judge and also to see everyone for their gifts and of the Spirit and what have you. So I feel pretty blessed to have had that relationship with both of them.
Thank you, Laurie. I'm touched by your sense that giving is a way of life rather than something or things that we do.
Right.
And it strikes me that it must be necessary to nurture that, to be attentive and aware
Yes.
of the needs before you. So a profound way of living that feminine genius, living that sense of generosity to which we're called. What about you, Jessica?
Yeah, similar to Laurie, my mother and grandmother were big influences on me and instilled this sense of you receive more by giving, your life is enriched, your spirit is enriched, it deepens your faith. And the biggest lesson I think I learned from them is that you just need to show up for people. Similar to what Laurie said too, like whatever they need, just be looking for how you can help and what you need to do. And sometimes it's just showing up and sitting with someone or whatever they need at that moment.
Which sounds like a very small thing and can consume a lot of energy and patience at times and time. Which just raises for me the question, you both live busy lives, both through work and family. That's no small task in and of itself. How do you find time to be giving, to be aware of the needs of others and to respond to those needs when the things right in front of you that need to be done never go away?
I often wondered that myself, but God provides. It just happens. I can't explain it any other way. I just surrender to it and say, it's in your hands. Whatever gets done, whatever doesn't. It always all gets done. I don't know how it does it. It's not me. I'm just kind of going with what is being directed in my life. And it did take me a while to get to that place. You know, I was always, okay, I want to do it this way, this way, this way. And then I recognized that when I surrendered and just let God take care of it, it was a different way totally than what I would have thought, but it worked and it was good. And so I was just like, okay. So as I got older, I got better with just letting it go and not trying to put my own twist on something. So yeah, so that really helped.
So perhaps the things that we're convinced need to get done that don't get done, we realize didn't need to get done. And it certainly is very connected with our whole spirit of appreciating God's goodness and provident care. That God will take care to lead the things in the direction they need to go.
Yeah. Well, and God always sent me people. You know, I was like, oh, I can't do this by myself. And someone would call, someone would show up and say, do you need help? It's like, yes. Yes. So, yeah.
What about you, Jess?
I'm lucky because I feel like I can incorporate my work into service, and my family can be service minded. So as much as I can, kind of integrating the time and helping teach and just be present in whatever is going on. And there's always people in need, and there's always needs to fill. So just being conscious of that wherever I am, and not feeling like it's an obligation at a certain time of the day or a certain moment, but that it's a way of life.
Right. So rather than segmenting out, I'm going to work now, I'm going to take care of my family now, I'm going to be in the community serving now, it's all one and the same. It's very powerful. You mentioned, both of you, that grandmothers and mothers have really been a strong influence and gift for you in this area of giving and generosity. They've passed it from their generation to you. How do we do that to the next generation? How do we help them to see the value of living that way of life and do it in a way that's inviting rather than top heavy? What do you do to do that? What do you do with your own 3 children?
I think even at a small age, just teaching them that it's important to care about other people, and that doing things even for the family, even around the house, benefits everyone, and that being in service is beneficial to all, and just constantly thinking about other things. And then I think naturally as they've grown, they've wanted to volunteer, they've wanted to be in service, they see where needs are. So I think just incorporating it as much as possible in everyday life is what I feel like what I was taught and what I'm trying to teach my children.
Which has to be very gratifying for you as a mother, to
Yes.
see it take root
Right.
and come from them rather than being forced on them.
Right.
Or
And it's not
pushed on
perfect
them.
all the time, but there are seeds.
And the seeds do grow.
Yeah, they do.
What about you, Laurie?
Just like Jessica said, if you have an example, and they're watching you, you don't think that they watch you, but they do, and they hear everything. So they keep me honest. But yeah, it's and I think I shared with you earlier. Sister Carol Gregory always said, model the behavior. So the behavior you want to see, you need to model yourself. And I thought that was just a perfect way of saying that. So I'm going to use that.
Yes. Actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
And certainly
Yes,
that's true with our own children in your case, but also just the younger generation as a whole.
Yes.
I'm intrigued in both of your areas of work. Do you encounter the next generation, and how do you instill this in them? It's one thing to do it at home. How do you do it in the workplace?
It's interesting because I think I'm kind of a mother to everyone, and so I'll bake cookies and bring them to work, and so that kind of opens up a dialogue. So we exchange recipes, but the younger generation, they, because I'm in my 60s, So we have, you know, the 40s and the 30s and the 20s, and it's interesting how the different ones will gravitate towards me. I don't really approach them. I just am kind and helpful, and they just seem to come, and it's really nice when they start to ask questions about the spirit and what drives me and stuff, because they all know that I'm a sister, an associate of the Sisters of Notre Dame, and they say, what does that mean? So it starts a dialogue, and then you end up with a lot of different avenues that you can go, that I've had opportunities. I did have someone come to me and say, I want what you have, and I just said, well, pray. You know, how do I get that? And I just said, well, just pray. So it's nice. It's again, it's just modeling the behavior and having people just approach you and you know, just kind of see, you know, where it goes. So it's pretty powerful.
Wonderful, wonderful. It strikes me that it's building that bridge of trust
Yes.
first.
Yes.
You know, you're bringing the cookies in, there's a connection there. And I believe that's true not only to one another as we help others to learn to serve, but also to those that we do serve.
Yes.
I think we've all been on the receiving end of what feels like, you know, somebody's trying to give us a gift, but there are strings attached. And those who have genuinely given. How do you see that play out in your
Yeah, I think my job in public relations is to build relationships and also communicate accurate truth. So a lot of times I have to hear both sides of the story, or when younger you know, professionals come to me and with a problem, personal or professional, just kind of gently expressing what I think the other side might be thinking. Like, that's just how I work, and I do think that that helps build trust and build that relationship and help people see kind of a bigger picture.
Right. And then they're seeing you being open to all perspectives
Right.
that will carry on for them as
Right.
well. What a wonderful, wonderful gift. I'm just always inspired by people like you who teach me a lot too, because I don't have biological children, so I don't have that family element, but I can learn so much from the way you serve and give and help me to grow in that spirit as well. So just thank you for being here today. It's been a delightful time for me to get to know you, and thank you for joining us for this Sister Chat, and we hope that you found it as inspirational and gift-giving as I did.